But yeah, um, hello everyone. So today, this is probably the first time that I've done a stream like this. Heavily inspired by some of my favorite streamers, Joe Bart. Big shout out Joe Bart, man. Um, you know, I mean he's the main one if I'm being honest. I don't really watch anybody else, but so I'm kind of gonna do a reacting sort of stream where I'm just watching videos, making comments. Obviously, the usual yap session that people do, but also before I do any of that, I want to talk about um one thing in particular, and it's kind of funny um because like it's not all right. So what I'm gonna talk about is Obsession, right? The movie that just came out last month. Um, and what's funny about it is I do not like horror. I do not like horror movies. I do not like horror games. I am a pussy. I do not like horror shit, right? So what's funny about it is that movie one of my homies told me to watch it, and obviously like I was skeptical at first cuz it's like, bro, I like I said, I don't like horror. I really don't. I don't. But and like I'm somebody like it's really hard to convince me to do anything. 'Cause, like if I don't want to do it, like I'm not going to do it. So, but that I was just like, you know what? Fine. And I watched it and I'm like, wow. Honestly, like I'm not a movie person. I don't watch movies often at all, like at all, but like that was probably the greatest movie I ever seen in my life. Like and that's a crazy statement to make, but it was just so good. And for someone like me that hates horror to say that, it speaks a lot, you know? To the production and to the people that made it, Curry Barker, Michael Johnston, the main character who plays the main character, Indy Navarrete. Big shout out to Indy Navarrete. Oh my gosh, she scared the shit out of me. But like, um, obviously, I'm gonna talk about them in a second. But it was just such a great movie, and like I will say, in the beginning, it was so like me personally, it got kind of repetitive. Like I was watching, I was paying attention to the plot or whatever. When it got to the point, and the movie been out for over a month, so anyone who ever sees this, if you haven't seen the movie, that's your fault. I'm spoiler warning. I'm spoiling it. You've seen it all over the internet. Um, so it like obviously starts off with Bear, the main protagonist. He can't. He's like he has a crush on this girl Nikki, and he is a scaredy cat. He is a bitch. He does not want to ask her out. He can't bring himself to find the courage to do so. Um, which I can assure you that will piss you off. Anyone who watches the movie, it will piss you off. It is annoying because it was like it gets to this car scene where so he went to the store to get her a gift, and he ended up buying this like One Wish Willow. It was like some it was like a spiritual shop or something like that, and he had dropped her home, and he was trying to muster up the courage to ask her out, and he didn't. And then he was like, um, he kept calling her back over to the car as she was trying to walk away, and she was like, she asked him, she was like, "Do you like me?" And he was like, "Nah, like we're good friends." And then, she was like, "Good." But like the way she, if you seen the scene, the way Nikki looked at Bear, it was kind of like a sad look in a way. It was like I feel like if he had just mustered up the courage to ask, he probably could have gotten that, but he was just being too scared. Um, which I think that was like a cool detail. Indy Navarrete did such a good job. I'm gonna praise her so goddamn much throughout the whole Yap session. But um, yeah. So he was like just being so scared, and he ended up not asking. She walked away, and then he pulled out the One Wish Willow, which obviously he ain't think it was gonna work. He said, I wish Nikki Freeman will love me more than anyone else in the entire world or something like that. He snapped it, and then like all of a sudden Nikki just started acting completely different. Like she came back to the car and she was like, being all weird, and he noticed immediately. Like it was like kind of odd, but he didn't think nothing of it. Next thing you know, they start dating, and then it was like they're friends. Ian and Sarah notice, and they're like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like she was not acting like this a moment ago. All of a sudden now y'all all lovey dovey. Like that don't make no sense. Um and like it went on and on, but then like Nikki started acting like at the dinner. So like Nikki told Bear, I'm gonna be all over the place with details. Nikki told Bear and was like, um she was like, my dad has cancer or something like that, and this was like way back. And then eventually Ian called Bear at the while they were at dinner and was like, yo, her dad is perfectly fine. He's been going to work every day. And then he was like, Bear was like, what the so he went back and he was like, does your dad actually have cancer? And then she started tweaking. She was like, no, 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 no. And it was this, and she just started screaming in a restaurant, and it was just mad unsettling. It was like, I say this to say, like, I don't want to go summarize the whole movie because, like, I feel like you don't need a summary anymore by this point. But it was one of those films where it wasn't scary in the aspect of like, oh, like you're gonna get jump scared, or like some fucking creature is gonna come out. But it was scary in the sense like it was so unsettling. Like you would get goosebumps watching it. You know what I mean? Because it's so realistic. Like all the things that transpired in the film can happen in real life to an extent, and it's just like that's what makes it so unsettling because it's like, whoa. You know what I mean? Because everybody's so used to like seeing like some like some demon or something or a creature in movies and films or aliens, and this one is just like it's just complete realism with a side of like a little and it was just like whoa. And it was such a good movie. And like I say this to say like Indy Navarrete did such a good job. And I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted to talk about it just to praise her. Like she did such an amazing job. And like I said, that's coming from someone that hates horror movies, horror films, horror games. Like I don't like anything related to horror. But my gosh, she just did so good. Like, and it was just mind-boggling. Like I didn't expect it to be that good. Like her performance was amazing. And then like even after the fact, I was watching a lot of like, what are they called? Like interviews and stuff, and you find out that Indy Navarrete doesn't even like horror stuff like that. Like she's not like, like she'll watch it, but she's not like so like super in tune with that type of stuff. Like she gets scared by that stuff. She's sensitive, she said, which I am too. But like, I would have never thought she was sensitive to scary shit because the performance she did in that movie was insane, absolutely insane. And it's just like, wow, she did an amazing job. And even to the point where like Michael Johnson, the actor who plays Bear, he said he didn't even have to do much acting. Like he was genuinely scared. Like, and I think that just shows how good she is. And um and mind you, like I didn't know who any of these actors were prior to this movie, but I feel like they all did such a good job. Obviously the film revolves around Bear and Nikki, but like even Sarah and Ian, like they did such a good job. Like Ian, he did a like his the actor who plays Ian, he did a very good job. Like I hated his guts throughout the. I'm not gonna lie, he when I specifically during that car scene with Sarah and Bear. Oh my gosh, when I found out, I hated his guts, and I already didn't really like him because his energy was just weird, and it threw me off throughout the whole film. And then it was like when I found out that one secret, it was just like Nah, it makes sense why he's acting like that. You know what I mean? Like that's why you acting like that, you motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate that motherfucker. But that like that's how you know they did a great job. Like because you're supposed to feel these emotions. Um, and yeah, Megan Lawless, the actor who plays Sarah, also she did a great job. That car scene with Bear, it was absolutely phenomenal. You could feel the intensity in that moment, and up until the jump scare, that part, that was easily the scariest part of the whole movie for me personally. Like I said, the beginning, like the first half of it was kind of repetitive for me, like because Nikki was just doing the same thing. Like she was just acting normal, and then she started tweaking, and then she started acting normal, and then she started tweaking. So it kind of got a little repetitive for me at first, and I'm probably the only one who felt that way. But that's just how I felt. And then like obviously like the latter half of the movie, that's when everything did like a full 180, and I was like, oh, like this is good. And but yeah, like that it was just so crazy. It was so crazy. Like the details, like the cooking the cat, which that pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. I was so mad when I saw the cat. First of all, when I saw the cat on the floor dead, I was like, who killed the cat? I thought somebody killed the cat. And then like when I seen the open pill cabinet, I'm like, yo, this dumb cat. Like, how the hell did the cat get in the cabinet? Like, and swallow pills? The cat overdosed. I'm like, how? But like that movie was just so good, man. It was so good. And it's just like I don't know how you top I don't know how you top that. I really don't know how you top that. And it's such a it puts such a good reputation like for like it builds a good reputation for people like Curry Barker because he's a YouTuber, and people don't think of YouTubers as directors, and now people are going to look at him like, wow, he's like that, you know? And in my opinion, I genuinely don't care what movie comes out for the rest of the year. That's movie of the year. Like easily movie of the year. Um it's just like that's all I can say. That movie was just so good. Like I said, all the actors, they did a phenomenal job. And like bro, it was a low budget movie, and I think that's what makes it even better. Like the fact that they had a low budget and still did that good, like you have to give them their props for that. So it's like wow, it's just absolutely phenomenal. Um Honestly, like I'm gonna praise Indy Navarrete forever. Like she did a phenomenal job, phenomenal job. Now she's all over my feed on YouTube, TikTok. She's everywhere. Um, but I'm not mad at it. It's a good thing. You know what I mean? She's awesome, and you could tell she has like a funny personality. So it's like, it's so cool to see. But um, yeah, I'm not gonna summarize the entire film. Just know that that movie is just that's coming from someone who I promise you can ask any of my friends. I hate horror films. I hate horror anything. And that movie was just so good. It's just ridiculously good. At all the details, they did an amazing job. Um and I now it's just like they did a good job when now you're gonna want to see the actors, just those specific actors in more films. Now I want to see more Michael Johnson. Now I want to see more Megan Lawless. Now I want to see more Indy Navarrete, etc. You know what I mean? Like they just did a great job. But I think that's enough about Obsession. That was a great movie. And now I love Indy Navarrete. She's so cool. But and Megan Lawless. So I think now we're gonna get into the reacts.